One of Donald Trump's ideas for coming out of the hospital where he was hospitalized with severe coronavirus, he acknowledged it was severe himself in one of his 37 rambling Fox interviews, was that he would put on a Superman shirt underneath a dress shirt and rip him off. We are not making this up. This is real. This was in the New York Times. John Heilemann, I guess my question for you, I don't even have a question. Go.
Oh, Nicole, hi. It's nice to see you. I mean,
Hi.
you know, sort of see you, to be with you. Nice to be with you. I mean,
Nice
look,
to
I
be
mean,
with you,
the Superman thing, you know, I mean, the only person that, I mean, I've had ideas that crazy and they've almost always, you know, been when I've been in an altered state, you know, and so I just attribute that to, you know, the guy was high as a kite, you know, when he came up with the idea, and it's obviously ridiculous, but, you know, it just tells you how high he was when he was at the peak of his intake of those corticosteroids and the other two drugs that he was taking, the only human being on planet Earth who's ever taken those three drugs in combination, according to every doctor that weekend. Still the most amazing thing I've ever heard. Like, you know, I mean, among many amazing things, the president of the United States was the biggest guinea pig in the whole history of this pandemic. They're giving him, you know, anyway. So like, you know, craziness, the Superman thing. But I do think it's all, you know, Peter said that Trump has this other narrative. And I obviously agree that's the narrative he's trying to put forward. Everything about what Donald Trump is doing right now, Nicole, reeks of desperation. There's just no other way to explain this. And of course, he knows, and the people around him know, that if he goes out and does these events, the narrative of Trump denialism, of Trump fantasy land, of Trump potentially infecting people, is going to follow him to each one of these stops. Every place he goes this week, he's going to be, that story is going to follow him. Every one of those events he does, we're going to look now and we're going to try to find out who left the event, whether Trump was responsible or not. Anybody who leaves those events now with a COVID diagnosis it's going to land back on Trump's desk. So it's like he can't outrun the story he's trying to outrun. As long as the election's about COVID and his leadership of COVID, he's losing the election. If he goes out on the road, he takes the story of COVID with him on the road, and it's a disaster, right? There's no way in which this is helping him to do what he needs to do. It's too late, really, for him to do anyway, but to try to change the subject, to try to turn the page, he's not going to be able to do it as he goes out on the road. But why? So why is he doing it? Why is he going out on the road? Because it's the only thing he knows how to do. Trumps are going to Trump, right? That's like, this is the story. Trump, you know, thinks a campaign is rallies. That's what he thinks. His campaign is broke. They're not on the air in most places anymore. They're fighting now, not just in the 6 core battleground states, but in places like Iowa and Ohio that he won handily in 2016. And he's getting outspent across the map. Joe Biden's outspending him by margins of 2, 3 to 1. The Biden campaign now has so much money that they're able to go and put money into Texas and into Georgia and into places where the race is still really close, but states that Donald Trump should never be competing in. This is the dream scenario for the Biden campaign, the nightmare scenario for an incumbent president out of money in a race that has become all about him. The one thing he couldn't let it be, a referendum on him and his leadership. And that's what it is in these last 3 weeks. And you see Trump essentially behaving in the most outwardly, obviously desperate way I have ever seen a major presidential candidate in the 30 years I've been doing this. This is a guy who knows how bad it is and just doesn't know anything else to do but go out and do these crazy rallies that are just going to make things worse for him.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.